Pokemon 2019 has finally been fully revealed as Pokemon Sword and Shield. Respawn is announcing and fully revealing their new Star Wars game in April, and we got our PlayStation Plus games for March. Let's go over all this and more on this week's rundown. Hello everyone, I am your host, Online ZHD. Welcome. I hope you guys are having a good week. It is Friday, let's go over this week's news. And yeah, our first big story is about Pokemon. I mean, obviously Pokemon's a big series, sells a lot of copies. Pokemon's first real Switch game has fully been revealed as Pokemon Sword and Shield. Yeah, they had a direct, lasted about 7 minutes long on Wednesday. And overall, I gotta say, the reception has been pretty good. I think a lot of people are happy with it. I personally am pretty excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm not really much of a Pokemon guy. I know a lot of people know that about me. Pokemon's a game that I just haven't really touched before, at least the series. And yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield will probably be my first time playing the Pokemon series. So yeah. They announced the 3 starters. I believe there was like Scooble, something like that. Skibble, I don't know his name. Grookly, who is like the Chad out of all 3 of them. And then also they announced like the other fire type Pokemon. I don't really remember their name. Pokemon looks lit. Pokemon Sword and Shield look pretty cool. And yeah, I think it's coming out late 2019. If you buy Shield, you are not a Chad. So yeah, buy Pokemon Sword. Respawn is announcing and fully revealing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the whole game that they announced at E3 last year in terms of like a dev sitting in an interview. I think Vince was there just sitting in the crowd and announced it like literally verbally. Yeah, I think you all remember that. Yeah, they're fully revealing their next Star Wars game on April 13th. That's going to be the Star Wars Celebration Day. So, yeah, we're going to be getting Star Wars Episode 9 trailer probably or something like that alongside the full reveal of Jedi Fallen Order. Of course, this is coming after Respawn's success with Apex Legends, which is their multiplayer focus right now in terms of the Titanfall universe. We also know that apparently they have a Titanfall game coming out later this year. So, apparently they still have 2 more games coming out later this year. Respawn, you're like, they're doing a lot, man. Let's see what you got. And yeah, April 13th can't come soon enough. Of course, we are nearing the end of February. In fact, the day you're seeing this, it's going to be March 1st. And of course, that means we're going to be getting our PlayStation Plus games for March. They were announced this week, and we are going to be getting Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered and The Witness, which is a pretty good game. I think a lot of people need to play that. I think a lot more people and a lot more eyes need to be on that game. I played it personally. I haven't beaten it, but like, it's a really good puzzle game. Probably like one of my favorite puzzle games, honestly. And yeah, it's a pretty solid lineup to PlayStation Plus. Of course, this is coming off the the news that PS3 games are getting removed and taken off the service, as well as Vita games. So yeah, we only get PS4 games now. I mean, the service seems to be maintaining the same quality they have been hitting like in the past year at least. And yeah, those are 2 pretty big titles alongside Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. Let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered 2 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. That would make a lot more sense to say, because apparently it's rumored that it's going to be coming out later this year. And apparently it's only campaign only, which is pretty interesting. I think a lot of people, would expect the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remaster to have the multiplayer, since that's like the fan favorite multiplayer, but apparently they're giving us the campaign. I mean, Activision seems to know what we all like lately, so yeah, let's trust them, right? Well, if that is true, that's going to be probably coming off of Infinity Ward's new Call of Duty game this year, which is apparently their best Call of Duty yet, according to Activision, which I feel like they say every year, but apparently it's true this time. So yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered is apparently a thing. I could care less unless it's good. I don't know. It's Activision. They're probably going to screw it up. Let's wait for further details. But yeah, Call of Duty. Overkill's The Walking Dead console versions have been scrapped as Skybound pulls out of the contract that they had with Starbreeze Studios ever since 2014. Of course, this was like their answer for like the first real good co-op game in the Walking Dead universe. I was pretty excited for it for quite a bit of time. I thought it would be pretty cool. Starbreeze, of course, the developers of Payday 2. That worried me a lot from the start because Payday 2 has been kind of iffy by fans, especially their DLC and just kind of their practices. Yeah, Starbreeze pretty much didn't deliver on the quality that apparently that contract was kind of signed for, at least as Skybound kind of hoped for it. They even pretty much stated in their like announcement or PR announcement of pulling out with their contract that the quality of the game wasn't as originally promised to them. So that's pretty big that they just openly blatantly said that. Obviously we saw the PC release drop last year in November, and it was pretty rough. That game was not looking that good. I think there's a lot of criticism toward that game. I'm not sure if it sold well. I can't imagine it really did. And yeah, I guess we just gotta keep waiting for that eventual good Walking Dead game to come out, at least co-op gameplay wise, because we all know the Telltale games are really good. But yeah, that sucks, but good on Skybound for being blunt and being clear. Yeah, man, it's a shitty situation. Days Gone is apparently going to be getting some first impressions from press, and influencers alike, as, you know, they've been inviting people going down to the studio or going down to places, I'm not sure where. I know Robin Gaming was tweeting out saying he went there, played 3 hours of the game, so I can't imagine that we're far from hearing impressions about the game. I'm guessing sometime like next week, probably mid next week, I'm not sure, maybe even Monday, anywhere to Wednesday, I don't know, usually that's when they drop news. We'll probably be hearing about Days Gone impressions, and yeah, you'll probably see a video from me coming out that, because obviously I'm covering the game, and yeah, I haven't seen that much excitement for Days Gone. It's kind of sad. I mean, I guess they've been doing their own kind of marketing plan, you know, with their whole entire drop trailers on like Twitter and stuff, as Sony seems to do nowadays. But yeah, Days Gone, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's coming out like April 26th, so see a video on that, talking about the reviews and then like impressions that people are talking about Days Gone. And I think they did like a familiar thing last year with God of War, and that was only brought the hype up. And let's hope they have good things to say, because I think Days Gone could use it, honestly. I think the big story this week definitely came from Amy Hennig. This kind of blew up, and kind of some people were falsely reporting it and falsely replying with, like, you know, different stances of what she didn't actually say. But pretty much Amy Hennig was on an interview with VentureBeat and pretty much talked about how single player games like Uncharted nowadays are kind of harder to pitch to publishers, just given the climate of games coming out nowadays, and how, you know, a single player game that doesn't have that much content to offer is kind of harder to pitch. And some people are replying saying, you know, well, with the successes of God of War and Spider-Man, like, how could that be the case? You know, those games are selling really well. But she did make a counterpoint on Twitter and said that those games by far take a lot more effort to make nowadays. In fact, like, she even said like double the production, which, as you guys can see, God of War was like a 25-30 hour game. And that, honestly, if you want to make a single player game nowadays, it's kind of risky, especially, you know, given the whole multiplayer climate of wanting to get you hooked on the game, not just let you enjoy it. They want you your whole time and pretty much your whole life spent on like a familiar product you're going to come back to. And just saying how, you know, delivering like a core focused single player game that just doesn't try to do anything in terms of giving you so much content, but just deliver on like the quality of the experience, is kind of not that viable nowadays with publishers, and is a lot more of a risk. And yeah, obviously, you know, games like God of War can be brought up as like, you know, successes, and like that's what in fact was like replied to her by. But yeah, those games do in fact take longer to make, and of course, you know, those games are like big 25-30 hour games that obviously to some people was a lot more content, which would make them like more to buy it. I know there's a crowd out there. I personally never have really agreed with content. You know, you're going out to a movie and you're going to watch a 1 hour, 1.5, 2 hour movie, and you're paying $15, like, times that by 4 and you get a good single player game just like that. I don't know. To me, it's always been about the quality, not the quantity. And yeah, that's kind of sad. She also went on to talk about how some people might not even like play through the whole single player kind of game, and that just kind of is demotivating while making a game, and also kind of just hurts that, like, while you're developing these games, that some people just are there for the quality. And yeah, man, it's kind of just speaking the truth, honestly. You look at games nowadays like Fortnite, like any multiplayer releasing. In fact, she even talked about how like Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 ended up getting like a tacked on multiplayer. I personally didn't really find it tacked on. I mean, I guess it is kind of tacked on, but those multiplayers were pretty good in general, in my opinion. They were done well. I think Naughty Dog multiplayers are generally like underrated, but yeah, it's just a pretty interesting discussion. I probably could make like a whole video on it. To kind of sum it up short here in this week's rundown, I agree with her. I really do think that the climate's kind of changing, definitely from like when you saw it back in the early PS3 days when multiplayer was just beginning. You know, there's a lot more games like Dead Space, a lot more games like Uncharted that were like single focus 10-hour campaigns that did exactly what you want. I mean, hell, look at the Order 1886 and how that got blew up in the PS4 lifecycle. That exactly is what they're talking about, how that can happen, how that pretty much can be a big risk for any developer, that you got to make sure you have content there, because you got to pretty much cover your ends, and there's always going to be those people out there that, you know, obviously want the content. And it's really hard to pitch it today to publishers. Like, I mean, look at EA. They haven't really done a single player game, and who knows how long. Like, it's all been multiplayer pretty much from them, like Apex Legends, Battlefield. I struggle to think of like an EA game that really focused on single player. Like, of course, it was Burnout Paradise, but that was just like a remaster. Like, when has EA originally like made a, you know, a single player game? I mean, they closed down Visceral, which is why I'm bringing it up, because, you know, obviously Amy Hennig worked and chose to leave. Her team was laid go. I think she probably would have been like offered another position or to stay there, but yeah, she pretty much just left there. I have no idea what she's doing now, but I hope the best for her, because she hasn't shipped a game in like since Uncharted 3, and I can't imagine what that's like. And just after Uncharted 4 and after the whole Visceral situation, it's just very shitty, man. So she spoke a lot of truth, definitely, at DICE, and yeah, man, it's just kind of eye-opening in a way. And it's not like it's news really, but just seeing her talk about it just kind of makes it that much more of like a reality to me, honestly, which is just something that's kind of shitty. I guess our final news story of the week, I'm not sure if this was this week or last week, but it was definitely a big story I wanted to talk about. Xbox Game Pass is apparently coming to Switch as soon as possibly being revealed this year. And also Ori is set to release on the Switch, which should show more of, Microsoft and Nintendo's, partnership, which so far has only seen like friendly in terms of crossplay and stuff. This came from Direct Feed Games, who is Nathan Drake or Nate Drake on Reset Era. Obviously, Reset Era is like one of the biggest forums out there. It was like the successor to NeoGAF after NeoGAF fell, or like at least what came out of that NeoGAF situation. Nate Drake's like a big guy on there, and yeah, he's been pretty credible in the past. A lot of people have backed up his rumors and what they've been hearing. I believe Game Informer ended up releasing an article saying that their sources have said familiar things, which would be pretty huge. I mean, you saw the whole xCloud initiative, or at least like that video, and they even showed it, I think, at E3, where you could be playing Xbox games by streaming them on like your phone, and you could just connect a Bluetooth Xbox One controller, and it could work just like that. Like, imagine if you could play Forza or like Sea of Thieves on your Switch. That's pretty huge. I'd be down for that. I don't own an Xbox One. I don't really see a reason why to, because I could just play games on my PC. I played Sea of Thieves that way, at least the beta. And yeah, if I ever wanted to play Gears of War, I could always just play it on my PC. I haven't got around to it, but I just easily could. So a lot of people are also saying that they're just going to one-up, Microsoft by buying these games, or at least playing them on Switch, but like, isn't that the point? That's why they're dropping the service. You're going to be paying the money to get the service. It seems like a smart thing for them. You're not really one-upping Xbox. That's the whole point, to play the games more and to reach a wider audience, which Xbox has been like openly stating for like at least the past year, with Phil Spencer in many interviews saying that, the future of gaming is when you open it up and you like break all these doors and barriers down. Really, barriers like, cross-play has definitely been a big initiative for them that they've been open about. And yeah, Xbox Game Pass coming to different devices, and they even like been revamping it, or at least been talking about revamping it on PC. Yeah, definitely not surprising. I mean, it was definitely surprising at first, but when you like think about what they've been saying in the past year, it also comes off as not surprising, considering what Xbox has been kind of like pushing for, at least their message in terms of like, yeah, they want to like break the barriers in gaming, which personally I think that's great. I think crossplay is definitely a thing that Sony should be a lot more open about. Of course, we have the beta phase right now, but I definitely think that is the future, is when you can get more people to play games. Because yeah, like, I obviously think exclusives should stay. I don't think like Uncharted should go third party or anything like that from Sony in terms of that, but like in terms of like crossplay and different initiatives like that, I definitely think the more barriers you break down, the better, in terms of just having gaming as an ecosystem. I mean, it's only led to good things, like what has been bad about it, and as well as just, yeah, it leads to more people to be able to play with their friends, and it's growing the audience of gaming and growing the medium as a whole. So yeah, you can watch movies on any device, you should be able to play games on any device just like that. So yeah, streaming would obviously take the power away that you need from like a big PC or like a PS4, and just letting it stream it off like one of their servers and stuff. So definitely not new. Obviously, PlayStation Now has been trying to do that with backwards compatibility, but being able to play Xbox One games in general is like a new thing on like a Switch. That's definitely like, no one thought of that really. So that comes to Switch, which apparently it's rumored to be like a released, or not released, but like at least fully revealed sometime this year. That's pretty huge. That pretty much has been this week's rundown, at least in terms of big news and topics this week. Thank you so much for watching. Devil May Cry 5 comes out next week. They just recently dropped like a final trailer. I didn't want to watch it because I've heard it's spoilery, so there's that. Devil May Cry 5 next week. I'm really excited for it. I've been actually playing for Devil May Cry as like a series lately. I played through 1, 2, sadly I played 2, and 3, and now I'm going to be playing 4 within the next week before 5, so looking forward to it a lot. Again, I appreciate you guys for watching. Just like a personal note, I guess, yeah, this is a new series I'm trying out because I pretty much don't like making news videos. I mean, only on like big topics. Obviously, if we get like a release date for Last of Us 2, I'm going to make a video on that. But like in terms of the smaller news stories that people actually might want to see my, thoughts on, I figured this would be like a good way to meet in the middle. I don't really feel like making a news video on like every little topic or every little thing. So this is kind of like my solution that I personally want to do. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, of course, I'm going to be mixing around with like future, like, how I film this and how I do it. Right now, I hope the setup I have going right now is pretty good. Hopefully I edited it pretty good, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, this is more of like a way to see what I'm thinking every single week. We don't have really gaming at its core because the other guys, we all not really doing anything right now with gaming at its core. It's just a thing. Gaming at its core, if you don't know, is our podcast that me, Josh, Dan, and I don't know. I'm not going to list every single member of Gaming at its core. You know what they are and who they are, but like, so this is kind of like your way to get my opinions on like the latest like news and stuff. And yeah, I think it's a cool idea and I want to continue it. So that's probably going to be once a week. I'm aiming at Friday. Friday's kind of like a weird day to upload it because obviously news can break on like a Friday, so it might become like irrelevant the same day, but I really feel like I should get this out by like the end of the week, usually every week. So I'm going to try for that, at least right now. It's a new thing I'm going to be trying, and yeah, I think it should be pretty cool and pretty interesting. So if you have any feedback on this new series, let me know in the comments down below. I've been online. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Appreciate the feedback, of course, as always, in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next week, or at least in the next video. Take care.